Have you ever sat at your desk or in the break room and wondered, why am I still doing this? You're not alone. If you're over 60 and still waking up to a calendar packed with meetings, obligations, and endless to-do lists, it's completely normal to feel a shift inside. A quiet voice that says, maybe it's time. But we don't always listen to that voice, do we? We tell ourselves, one more year. I'm still useful. I don't want to feel irrelevant. And let's be honest, retirement used to sound like the end of the road. Now, it's starting to sound like the beginning of a life we've been putting off. In this video, we're going to gently walk through 8 signs, real, often overlooked signs, that might mean you're more than ready to retire. And not next year. Not when your coworkers finally notice how tired you are. But now. Today. While you still have the health, the energy, and the dreams to do something with your time. Let's start with something many of us experience but often brush off. You're physically exhausted, even when your job isn't that physically demanding. You find yourself needing more rest, more recovery after what used to be a regular day. You come home and you're too tired to enjoy the evening, too drained to pick up a hobby or spend time with grandkids. That's not normal aging, that's your body signaling burnout. It's your body whispering, slow down, please. And if we don't listen to that whisper now, it could turn into something louder later, like illness or injury. Another sign? You've stopped looking forward to Mondays. Not in the I wish weekends were longer kind of way, but in the deeper, more emotional sense. You dread walking into the office or logging in from home. You used to feel purposeful at work. But now? It just feels draining. Like a part of you is going through the motions because it's what you've always done. But your heart, your joy, it's somewhere else. Maybe it's in your garden. Maybe it's in your paintbrush. Or your suitcase. Now, let's talk about something we don't admit enough, resentment. You might find yourself getting irritated more often. Not just with coworkers or management, but with the whole idea of having to work at this stage in life. You've paid your dues. You've shown up. You've given your time, your energy, your loyalty. But now? There's a quiet question growing in the back of your mind. What if I just stopped? The truth is, if you're constantly imagining your life without the job, that's not just daydreaming, it's your mind nudging you toward a reality that could be yours. It's not laziness or weakness. It's wisdom. It's your intuition trying to reclaim your time before someone else takes more of it. And here's the surprising part, retiring doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what matters. It means waking up and walking outside because you want to. It means reading the book that's been sitting on your shelf for years. It means calling your friend at 10 a.m. just to laugh, not because you're on a lunch break. It means rediscovering life at your pace. I know. Change is scary. The idea of letting go of structure, of income, of identity, it's a big step. But if you've been nodding along, if you've felt any of what we've talked about so far, your heart already knows the answer. You're not running from work. You're walking toward freedom. Now that we've touched on physical exhaustion, emotional burnout, and the subtle shift in mindset that comes with age and wisdom, let's keep going. Because the truth is, retirement isn't a finish line, it's a doorway. And on the other side is the life you've been quietly waiting for. So, you've started to feel the weight of your workdays more than you used to. You've noticed how weekends never feel quite long enough, and you've caught yourself wondering what life would look like if you had the freedom to wake up on your own terms. That quiet pull towards something different, it's not a fantasy. It's a signal. And if you've made it this far in the video, chances are your inner compass is already pointing toward a change. Let's talk about another sign. You've accomplished what you set out to do. Maybe you've raised a family, paid off a house, supported a spouse, or simply stayed in the workforce through all its twists and turns. And now, you're no longer chasing promotions or pay raises. You're seeking peace. A slower rhythm. A life where you don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. If that resonates, it's not because you're giving up. It's because you've given enough. Now here's something else to consider. Your finances aren't perfect, but they're okay. You've run the numbers, maybe with a financial advisor, maybe just on a notepad at the kitchen table. And while it might not look like a millionaire's retirement plan, it's workable. There's food, shelter, security, and a little extra for the fun stuff. And deep down, you know you could make it work if you cut a few corners or adjusted your lifestyle just a bit. The thing is, retirement doesn't require perfection, it requires readiness. And sometimes, we wait for the stars to align when really, we just need to say, this is enough. Here's another powerful sign: your identity is shifting. For decades, your job title might have been a big part of who you are. Teacher, engineer, manager, nurse. But now, you're starting to think about other roles. Grandparent, volunteer, artist, explorer, friend. The idea of introducing yourself without mentioning your job doesn't scare you anymore, it actually excites you. That's not a loss of self. That's growth. You're evolving, and that evolution deserves space. And finally, the one sign most people miss: your time has become more valuable than your income. Let that sink in. When you were younger, you trade time for money because you need to build a life. But at some point, especially after 60, that equation flips. Your time becomes the most precious currency you have. You start asking yourself, is this job really worth 40 hours of my week when I could be spending it making memories? If you've ever looked at the clock in a meeting and thought, I could be on a walk with my spouse right now, that's not just wishful thinking. That's awareness. That's wisdom talking. What so many people don't realize is that retirement doesn't start with a date, it starts with a decision. A choice to prioritize joy. To listen to the inner voice that says, you've done enough. Now live enough. The fear of retiring too early keeps people working too long. But no one ever says they regret spending more time with family, or taking that road trip, or finally writing the book that's been dancing in the back of their mind for years. What they regret is waiting, hesitating, believing the lie that they weren't ready, when in truth, they were more than ready. And maybe that's where you are right now. The thought of retirement no longer feels like something far away or something meant for someone else. It feels close. Like a door you've been walking toward slowly, year after year. And now, you're standing right in front of it, hand on the handle, heart full of questions and possibilities. So what's stopping you? Fear? Doubt? Habit? It's okay. Those feelings are valid. But so is your desire to live freely, to reclaim your time, to explore who you are beyond a paycheck and performance reviews. Now that we've walked through these powerful realizations together, let's keep going. Because retiring isn't about quitting, it's about beginning. And if even a small part of you is nodding along right now, then maybe it's time to listen. Not to me. Not to your coworkers. But to yourself. Because you know what matters most. If you've been following along this far, it's probably because something inside you is stirring. Maybe it's curiosity, maybe it's hope, or maybe it's the quiet realization that you've been ready for a while, but needed someone else to say it out loud first. So let's talk about a few final signs that it might be time to stop waiting and start living. One of the clearest signs? You've stopped daydreaming about work and started daydreaming about everything else. Gardening. Traveling. Learning how to paint. Spending full mornings with grandkids instead of replying to emails. These aren't just passing thoughts anymore. They've become vivid. Tangible. You picture what breakfast would look like if you weren't rushing. You imagine the freedom of not checking the clock every hour. That's not a fantasy, that's your future knocking. And here's the thing, your health has become a priority. You feel it every time you stretch in the morning or skip a late-night snack. Your body is telling you, hey, we've got some years left, if you treat me right. And deep down, you know you'd feel better, move more, even laugh more if stress didn't follow you home every day from work. Stress ages you. Rest heals you, and you deserve healing. There's also this beautiful shift that happens in later years, clarity. You start seeing what matters most with razor-sharp focus. It's not the title, the next big project, or the company updates. It's moments. Sunday lunches. Beach sunsets. The sound of birds outside your window when you don't have to be anywhere. Retirement isn't the end of your story. It's the start of the most authentic chapter yet. And I want you to hear this loud and clear. You don't have to earn permission to enjoy your life. You've worked for decades. You've shown up, poured in your energy, sacrificed time and sleep and probably a few vacations along the way. And now, you've earned something bigger than a bonus. You've earned peace, joy, time. You've earned the right to wake up and simply be, without a packed schedule telling you who you are. And yes, I know it's scary. Retirement feels like jumping without a safety net. But sometimes, what you'll land on is softer than you imagined. A new rhythm. A slower pace. A more present life. Maybe your friends are still working. Maybe your neighbors say you've got another 5 years in you. But you feel it in your gut. That still, small voice whispering, it's okay to stop now. It's okay to start something new. If you're nodding along right now, it's not a coincidence. You were meant to hear this. Meant to know that you're not alone in thinking there's more to life than endless work. Maybe your retirement won't look like anyone else's. Maybe you'll still work part-time. Or volunteer. Or finally take that course on pottery or history or how to cook the perfect curry. That's the beauty of this season, you get to design it. It's your time now. So as we wrap up this conversation, let me leave you with this thought. Retirement isn't just about what you're leaving behind. It's about what you're stepping into. It's about finally putting yourself first, not out of selfishness, but out of self-care. You've given so much to others. Now's the time to give a little more back to yourself. So if even a tiny part of you feels lighter, calmer, or more hopeful after hearing all of this, hold on to that. It might just be your future calling, saying, "Welcome home." If this video gave you something to think about, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share your thoughts, your worries, your dreams. Let's build a space where retirement feels less like a leap and more like a landing. And if you found value here, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're here every week talking about life after 60, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Here's to stepping into your freedom, one thoughtful decision at a time. Here's to retiring not because you have to, but because you can. And here's to living your best life at any age.